Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today we're doing a cooking video. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I love to cook. I be in the kitchen and I just made a separate cooking page and Instagram page. But let's get into this seafood macaroni and cheese honey child. Honey child. So yeah, let's get into it. Like I said, if you follow me on Instagram, you already saw me make macaroni and cheese, but I wanted to bring this seafood mac to YouTube. So yeah. The ingredients that you're going to use mild cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese, and Gouda cheese. And you also want fresh mozzarella. Now, cheeses are always optional, but these are the cheeses that I like to use for this macaroni dish. You also want to make sure you have extra cheese on the side for topping. You want cream cheese, evaporated milk, eggs, seafood stock, heavy cream, and you want some butter. Obviously you need elbow noodles, but you know, noodles are optional. Some people use different noodles for macaroni and cheese. That's not me. You also want your seafood of choice. So I have some shrimp, some fresh snow crab meat from 2 clusters of crab, and then I also have this crab meat in a can. It's like from the claw. So yeah, and I'm gonna use 1 can of that. And then you want your seasoning. So I'm gonna use this seafood bouillon seasoning. I'm gonna use you need a little bit of salt for your water. You need seafood magic seasoning and whatever other seasoning that you like. I like to use paprika. This is the smoked paprika from Trader Joe's. I like to use Tony's. I like to use the chicken bouillon seasoning, garlic, and parsley or basil leaf. So we're going in with the seafood stock. You're going to fill your pot up with 1 container of seafood stock. And then to fill up the rest of your pot, you're going to use some water. All right, so once you have your pot full and you want to leave about a 1/4 cup of the pot without any liquid, you're going to add in your bouillon cube. I'm using a seafood bouillon cube. If you can't find it, it's fine. Now we're going to go into season our crab meat. I'm going to just season the fresh crab meat and the other crab meat together. And I just put some minced garlic in there in the bowl. And I'm going to go in with some Tony seasoning. You don't want to use too much of the seasoning because it can get a little bit salty. And you also don't want to over season your seafood. You want to be able to taste like the crab meat. And I use a little bit of that seafood seasoning as well. And you're just going to mix it up. Make sure you mix it up good. You don't want to break the meat up too much. But yeah, just make sure you mix it up good so that the seasoning is like distributed evenly throughout the meat. All right, so for the shrimp, we're gonna do the same thing. A little bit of Tony's, very little Tony's, some garlic powder, and you're just gonna mix up the shrimp too. For seafood, mac and cheese, you can literally use whatever seafood you want, but since there's like a limited stock at the supermarket, this is all that I could get, so that's what we're using today. And I also have a lobster tail that I'm gonna put on top of the macaroni and cheese, and I seasoned it the same way that I seasoned the shrimp. All right, so while the water is boiling for the noodles, we're going to go ahead and work on the custard. So you're going to use 4 eggs and you're going to use 4 cups of milk. So I typically like to mix my evaporated milk and my heavy cream. So I'll either do 2 cups evaporated, 2 cups heavy cream, or 3 cups evaporated, 1 cup heavy cream. It's really up to you. You can use whole milk. You just need a milk. So whatever personal preference you have, then you can use. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using 4 cups of milk and 4 eggs. So to every egg, use 1 cup of milk. All right, so now I'm gonna add my seasoning to the custard. I'm gonna again use some of that Tony's, and I'm gonna use some garlic powder, and I'm just gonna mix that up. You wanna make sure you break the yolk, and mix it all together, and make sure that you really mix the eggs into the milk. You don't want it to be lumpy. You want everything to be nice and smooth. All right, so the water is boiling, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in my box of noodles. I did add a little bit more than a box just because I had some extra noodles laying around, but yeah, typically you just need a box of noodles, and I'm gonna stir that all together. I didn't add any oil or butter into my water. I just don't do it. And yeah, we're gonna let that boil, and make sure you set your timer to 7 to 8 minutes. Hey y'all, you can see me in the reflection. Yeah, 7 to 8 minutes you want to boil your noodles for. Follow the directions on the box. And yeah, once your noodles boil, you're gonna take them out and strain them. I don't rinse my noodles or anything like that. I'm gonna go in with about a tablespoon of cream cheese, and we're gonna use some butter as well. It's about maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons. The exact measurements will be down below. But yeah, so you're gonna mix that until it's melted. Then you're gonna add your seasoning. Please season your noodles. Please season your noodles. So I like to use the chicken seasoning, the chicken bouillon seasoning, the smoked paprika, and the garlic powder. You can add salt, pepper. You can add whatever seasonings you like. But yeah, it smells so amazing. It smells so good. Like that smoked paprika makes it smell so good. And I'm just adding just a little bit more butter, just because I feel like I need more butter. The ancestors told me to add more butter, so that's what I'm doing. And you just want to mix everything together until everything's nice and incorporated and the butter and cream cheese is fully melted. All right, so I'm going in with my buttered Dutch oven cast iron pot, and I'll link this down below. I got this from Target. It's a Chrissy Teigen Dutch oven. So we're gonna start building our mac and cheese, y'all. So I like to layer my noodles and cheese and work my way up. I love to do everything in layers. That's just something I like to do when I'm cooking. So you're gonna put your first layer of mac and cheese down, then you're gonna put your mozzarella cheese, then you're gonna put your Gouda cheese, then you're gonna put your cheddar cheese, whatever cheese you use. You're gonna put your noodles down, put your cheeses down, and put your noodles on top of it. Now you can mix your cheeses together and do one layer like that. But since I like my mac and cheese to be like really cheesy and creamy, I like to just layer the cheeses on top of each other. All right, so on top of the cheese, I'm gonna add my crab meat. And then once I have the crab meat, I'm gonna put the shrimp on top. I didn't have that many. I didn't have too much shrimp. I didn't have too much shrimp because I personally can't eat a lot of shrimp. It makes my stomach hurt. But yeah, you can add as much. You can load this up with as much shrimp, crab as you want. It's yours. You know, do what you want to do. But this is the amount of shrimp that I'm using. So once I have my seafood down, I'm gonna go back in with my noodles and add more noodles. And we're just gonna repeat the same steps, y'all. It's really self-explanatory. And it's so quick and so easy to do. And I don't have any measurements for how much cheese I'm using. As you can see, I'm just taking handfuls of cheese. And this cheese, I did shred myself. Of course, the only cheese that came pre-shredded was the mozzarella cheese. And I like to use the Kraft one. I just like that brand of shredded cheese because it tends to not be as greasy as other brands. So I was making my mom a personal dish of macaroni and cheese because she's allergic to seafood. So I did have some white cheddar cheese. So to this layer, I added some of that sharp white cheddar. Um, yeah, just because, just in case somebody was wondering what that was on the side, that's some sharp white cheddar cheese, which is so good. It's the Cracker Barrel brand. It tastes so freaking good. Um, and regular mac and cheese, I really love it. But yeah. All right, and I'm just pushing this down, baby. This macaroni cheese is thick, okay? She real thick. She thick like me. So I had to make sure I'm pushing and compressing everything down because we got one more layer to go, okay? We got one more layer of noodles. And I didn't put any seafood on that layer just because I wanted to have enough for my last layer. So on top of that layer, I just added the noodles. Like I said, do what you would just disperse the seafood how you please. You know, it doesn't really matter. You gon' taste it, you gon' get it. But yeah, I'm gonna put the noodles, then I'm gonna put my seafood on top of there. Real good, real nice. And then I'm gonna put the cheese on top of that. All right, so now here comes the custard. I'm gonna dig some holes in my macaroni and cheese to make sure that when I pour the custard in, it can get all down in the middle, all down in the side, all between and in between and inside the noodles, okay? Especially because I have so much pasta and cheese and seafood packed in this dish. I want to make sure that the custard is going to be able to hit all the corners that I need, okay? So I'm going to put a hole in the middle, a hole in the left, and a hole in the right. You could do as many as you want. It doesn't really matter. 3 holes are good enough. And you're just going to pour it into those holes. And you're going to watch the custard seep in. Sometimes you'll need more custard, sometimes you'll need less. It depends on your dish, how big your dish is. It depends on how many noodles you have. Um, that'll determine if you need to use less or more. Make sure you eyeball it. You should be able to see the custard all the way up to the top, okay? So I'm just checking to see where it's at. It looks good. So I covered the holes up. I put my some more cheddar cheese up there, and I put some of that fresh mozzarella on top as well. This fresh mozzarella is a game changer on your macaroni and cheese, okay? So now I'm gonna top it off with extra paprika, baby. That's smoked paprika, and I'm gonna go ahead with my parsley. You don't need to do it, it's just cute, and I just feel like black people put paprika in and on everything, and I'm not gonna break any rules, okay? All right, so let's get a close up of this. You see the seasoning, you see the cheese, you see it. You see it, you see that seafood poking out. All right, so I'm gonna put the top on it and put it in the oven at 350 degrees. It's gonna go in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes with the top on. This is what it looks like. Look at that. Y'all see that? Y'all saw that. It looks delicious. So if you like to have the top of your mac and cheese nice and brown like me, you can put it back in your oven uncovered for an additional 30 to 40 minutes. The time, like I said, it depends on how many noodles you have, how big your dish is. It all depends on that. Me, I needed to cook this macaroni and cheese for about an hour and a half just because of the dish and how much mac and cheese it was. And I wanted to make sure that it was cooked all the way through because we did use eggs in the custard, y'all. So make sure that your custard is cooked. So this is what it's looking like. We put the lobster on top of there. We put it back in the oven. And yeah, she's bubbling, baby. She's ready. All right. Excuse my phone. I was recording for my Instagram story as well. So we're gonna dig. I like to dig into it, like to see, to make sure. So you see that? Ooh, y'all see that cheese? You want to make sure that it's creamy. If it's watery and runny, your macaroni and cheese is not done and you need to put it back into the oven. You want to make sure that it's nice and creamy. Once it settles, it'll tighten up and it won't be as creamy. So you won't have like cheese sauce running all over your plate. No, it'll be very much intact, okay? Trust and believe. But yeah, this is what she's looking like. Oh my God. Y'all, this macaroni and cheese was so good. You see that crab right there? Y'all see that cheese? This macaroni and cheese is heavy too. Like my spoon was struggling. But yeah, I just want y'all to see that cheese and that creaminess and that it's just nice and moist. We don't do dry mac, okay? We do not do dry macaroni and cheese. All right, y'all. This is what it's looking like. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, enjoyed the tutorial. Let me know if you guys are going to try it out. And be sure that you follow Millennials Can Cook on Instagram and on YouTube as well. It'll be linked down below. Bye.